When Criteo thinks about performance, we think about a model that learns, that has the ability to learn from what sells. And so it's one thing to just target a high intending audience. It's another to be able to target that audience and then actually understand which parts of it end up buying, and then use that to learn and buy the next part of the audience and know exactly how to buy in order to generate a sale. And that focus on driving sales is a huge differentiator. A lot of companies say performance, but what they're talking about is a campaign intended to drive sales, but not a learning loop that's able to continuously improve and essentially drive to a constant and growing ROI. I think what was interesting about that is with the brand model that we brought to the table, that was a very difficult model to create, because you're talking about not one point of sale, you're talking about connecting many points of sale as an attribution funnel. So if I came up with Hasbro earlier, Hasbro sells a lot of products in Toys R Us, but also at Target, also at Walmart, also at Kohl's and JCPenney's and some other sites. To be able to buy advertising but then measure across all of them is actually how their point of sale looks when they go to market online. They don't have a single point of sale, they have many points of sale. And so you have to treat that as basically one big giant e-commerce site that now Hasbro is promoting online. When you're able to do that, then you can actually create that learning model and create that approach to driving sales based on picking the right media.
So is that the case now, where brands are using it to maximize marketing campaigns? Is that something that we can expect to see, or we are seeing?
Well, I think what you see today is that we're using it to maximize a certain type of marketing campaign, which is preferred placement within retail sites. But what you can expect, I think, to see is that Criteo has a massive display network and native network that, and increasingly video inventory and other inventory that I look at it. A good way to explain it is, each of those retailers is its own silo, if you will, of activity, but retailers cross the silos, and so being able to incorporate brand-funded media across the silos, helping to drive traffic down the silos to the retailer sites, is a key part of the vision of the combination, and enabling effectively broad-based performance marketing for brands, not just within retail sites, but off of retail sites. The core offering of the HookLogic acquisition is now called Criteo Sponsored Products, and that is the basically paid search on retail. It has a strong corollary to Amazon Sponsored Products, which is another program very similar to it. And we're continuing to add to that suite around that. So a couple of things, the attribution engine, we call it Brand 360, and the ability to see sales, what SKU was bought based on which SKU was interacted with across sites, across devices, across platforms. And increasingly we're starting to push into offline attribution. So we actually package that and call it Brand 360, which is our view of attribution for the brand. And another area that we're pushing into, and that is actually cross to the brand.com site and how that interacts with the retail sites. So a lot of brands have their own stores, or at least have their own content sites that are part of that store equation, and how to include those in it as well. Another piece is one of the new media formats that we're working on. We call it Brand Spotlight, which is effectively a new kind of brand placement built into retail sites, where instead of a product level auction, it's more of a brand level auction for competition for a featured placement within the retailer. We think there's a room for a lot of new value add, both for the brand and the retailer, to get that kind of focus, but on a programmatic basis. It's not a CPM display type unit. We're talking about still a performance, pay-per-click based auction approach, but with full attribution. And then, I was alluding a few minutes ago, we're working on more and more ways to leverage the display ecosystem that Criteo is so strong with, in order to get brands buying on a performance basis across the wider internet.